8th October is not just another date on the calendar. It carries a vibration, a moment where the unseen begins to move, where the old balance starts to tremble, and where the structures that once felt unbreakable begin to show their cracks. What many call chaos is simply energy rearranging itself. The system you see around you, society, people, and even your own habits, is not designed to last forever. Every system eventually reaches a point where it must shake so it can breathe again. And that is what 8th October represents: a universal breath, a powerful a shift that no one can stop once it begins. This day invites awareness. It does not warn, it does not threaten, it awakens. You may feel tension, uncertainty, or sudden clarity. All are signs that the shift is real. The energy of 8th October does not arrive to punish, but to transform. It calls you to look at what has become too rigid inside you, the patterns that you repeat without thought, the emotions you suppress, the beliefs that once protected you, but now limit you. All of these are part of the system that is being shaken. The world cannot renew if you can continue to hold on to the same vibration. The energy of renewal begins within you. When the system shakes, it does not ask for permission. It simply moves through everything that resists flow. This is why on 8th October, many will feel discomfort. Some will call it anxiety, some will call it confusion, but it is simply movement. The release of what no longer serves your growth. You are being asked to rise above the noise and recognize that every shake is a message. The message says it's time to evolve. It's time to step out of repetition and into awareness. The stronger the shake, the deeper the growth waiting behind it. The 8th October is not about what happens outside of you. It is about how you stand when everything begins to move. The true shift is not political, not social, not even global. It is personal. The system that needs to shake most is the one inside your own mind. The habits you follow blindly, the fears you protect, the excuses you build walls with. These are your personal systems. And just like the world, they too must break to expand. The moment you allow yourself to change your thinking, you align with the energy of 8th October. You become part of the flow instead of being crushed by it. There is great power in silence during times of shaking. When the world becomes loud, when opinions and fears grow wild, your strength lies in staying centered. The more the system shakes, the calmer you must become. Not because you ignore the change, but because you trust it. The old order always resists transformation, but nothing can resist forever. 8th October will bring moments that challenge comfort zones, expose hidden truths, and test emotional control. The purpose is not to break you, but to show you how unshakable you already are. Everything that feels uncertain is an invitation to grow. When the energy moves fast, you can either fight it or learn to ride it. Those who fear the shift will cling to what is falling. Those who understand it will step into the new with open eyes. That is what preparation means: not waiting, not worrying, but welcoming. The moment you stop fearing the shake, you begin to feel its rhythm. 8th October teaches that evolution is not gentle, growth is not comfortable. Transformation rarely announces itself softly. It comes like thunder, clears the air, and leaves behind space for something purer to rise. This shaking is global, but it begins individually. You may notice relationships shifting, goals changing, or old emotions surfacing again. This is not regression, it is release. The system is pushing out what cannot exist in higher energy. Do not hold on to people, habits, or thoughts that tremble under pressure. They are not meant to survive the new cycle. Every vibration that leaves you makes room for alignment, and 8th October opens that space. When you begin to align with the energy of renewal, you stop chasing control, you stop forcing outcomes. You start to observe, you learn that real strength is not in holding tight, but in trusting the flow. The system shaking is not chaos, it's balance returning. Like the forest burning to make way for new growth, 8th October burns away illusions. It teaches that endings are not failures, but transitions. When you let go, life begins to rebuild you in the image of truth, not comfort. You must be prepared not with fear, but with focus. The most powerful preparation is clarity. Know who you are when everything begins to change. Know what you will not compromise. Know that peace is not found in stillness, but in adaptability. When 8 October comes, and it will come like a wave, stand tall, feel the movement around you, let it strip away the unnecessary. Let it show you what is real. After the shaking, there will be silence, and in that silence, something within you will have shifted permanently. You will notice it in your thoughts, your energy, your calmness. That is when you realize the truth. 8 October did not come to destroy the system. It came to awaken you beyond it. It came to teach that growth is not an event, but a series of awakenings that begin each time life trembles and you remain unbroken. 8 October carries with it a wave of awakening, but awakening begins not in the world, it begins in the mind. The system outside can shake all it wants, but if the system within remains trapped in fear, nothing truly changes. The most powerful transformation that this day brings is mental recalibration, the clearing of the fog, the sharpening of perception, the quiet realization that the mind creates either your prison or your freedom. 8 October is not about waiting for signs. It is about seeing clearly what has been hidden behind the noise of thought. Every thought you hold, every emotion you feed builds the framework of your reality. Most people live inside that framework without ever questioning it. They move according to habits, they speak from patterns, and they react instead of respond. 8 October arrives to break that trance. It forces awareness. It reminds you that your thoughts are not who you are. They are tools, they are signals, they are choices. And if you do not master them, they will master you. The shaking that this day brings is not only external, it is the deep internal shift that happens when you begin to see the structure of your own mind and decide to rebuild it. Mental recalibration means taking back control of the lens through which you see everything. It means stepping out of emotional automation. When fear arises, you breathe instead of panic. When doubt appears, you observe instead of resist. This is discipline, not the harsh kind that punishes, but the kind that liberates. 8 October brings an energy that tests this discipline. Situations may arise that trigger old emotions. People may act in ways that reopen old wounds. The purpose is not to hurt you. It is to show you what still controls you. The system cannot truly shake if you keep rebuilding the same mental cage around it. The day asks you to look within, to see the repeating thoughts that drain your energy, to watch them lose their power the moment you stop believing them. The mind is the command center of your existence. When it is calm, everything aligns. When it is chaotic, everything collapses. 8 October carries the vibration of mental awakening, a reminder that clarity is not found by adding more, but by removing what is unnecessary. You do not need more answers, you need fewer distractions. You do not need to control the world, you need to master your own response. This is the lesson of recalibration, simplifying the mind until it mirrors still water, reflecting truth without distortion. Many will feel this energy as restlessness. Thoughts may speed up, emotions may fluctuate, sleep may be unsettled. This is not something to fear. It is simply your inner system adjusting to a higher frequency. When the mind begins to purify, it resists at first. It throws old fears forward to test your strength. But if you breathe through it, if you refuse to feed panic with attention, the chaos dissolves. Then something remarkable happens. Silence appears. That silence is the doorway to awareness. It is where you begin to see how much power you truly have when the mind no longer drags you. 8 October asks for a decision, a choice to no longer be a victim of thought. You cannot move into higher states of being while still identifying with your old mental storms. Every moment of overthinking, every spiral of self-doubt drains the same energy that could be creating, healing, and growing. The recalibration process begins when you start watching the thoughts instead of becoming them. Observe them rise, watch them pass, and realize that none of them are permanent. This is mastery. This is the strength that the shaking system cannot touch. When you begin to operate from awareness, you stop reacting and start creating. You realize that no one can control your peace unless you hand it to them. 8 October amplifies this truth. It pushes your limits. It exposes your attachments. It invites you to detach from emotional dependency. You start to understand that control of the mind is not suppression, but understanding. When you understand the source of a thought, you stop being its slave. You start to choose. You start to create from consciousness instead of chaos. This day's energy will feel heavy for those who resist change and liberating for those who embrace awareness. It is not about perfection. It is about presence. And every time you bring your attention back to this moment, you disconnect from the noise of the world and connect to your true self. That is the essence of mental recalibration, returning to the center of stillness where clarity lives. 8 October holds this frequency, the invitation to master your internal system before trying to change the external one. Once your mind begins to align, the world follows. Your focus sharpens. Your decisions become cleaner. You stop chasing and opportunities begin to find you. You stop doubting and your confidence becomes quiet but unshakable. You stop fearing the unknown because you realize that nothing outside can destroy what is balanced inside. The system around you may shake, but your foundation will stand. That is the true preparation, not panic, but precision. 8 October is not the beginning of chaos, it is the beginning of clarity. When the world shakes, many look for stability in people, in routines, in control. But real stability is born from stillness of mind. It is found when you can sit in silence and remain centered no matter how loud the world becomes. That is the gift of this day. It teaches that the true battlefield is the mind and the only victory worth chasing is peace. Recalibration is not a one-time event, it is a daily discipline. But 8 October ignites it with force, giving you the push to break through the old mental programming and rise above it. After the storm passes, your perception will be different. You will see how much noise was unnecessary, how much fear was illusion, how much power you always had. You will understand that the external shake was only a reflection of the inner one, and that both existed to awaken the same truth your mind, when mastered, becomes the calm eye within every storm. 8 October marks that awakening. It marks the moment you stop being controlled by your thoughts and begin to use them as the instruments of creation. When that happens, no system, no shake, no uncertainty can ever unbalance you again. 8 October is not coming to comfort you. It is coming to cleanse you. It does not arrive with soft energy or quiet whispers. It arrives with the force of change, direct, unstoppable, uncompromising. When this energy enters, everything unstable will begin to fall. But this is not destruction for the sake of loss. It is the natural cycle of transformation. What must fall will fall. What is meant to stay will stay. Destruction is not the enemy, it is the doorway. 8 October is the day where endings reveal beginnings and breaking becomes the only path to becoming whole again. There is no growth without collapse. Every strong structure was once fragile. Every light was born from darkness. Every new version of yourself came only after the old one broke apart. That is the rhythm of existence. 8 October carries this vibration strongly. It shakes the walls you built for safety and exposes what you've been hiding behind them. You will feel the pressure, you will feel the release, and then you will feel clarity. And the breaking is not punishment, it is purification. It burns away what no longer matches the frequency of your next stage. The moment you stop fearing destruction, you begin to understand life. You begin to see that every ending you ever faced was an invitation to evolve. 8 October pushes this truth to the surface. It doesn't ask whether you're ready. It moves with the purpose. If you've been holding onto something that blocks your growth, a habit, a belief, a relationship, the energy of this day will begin to pull it apart. It will not ask politely. It will simply expose it. because anything not built on truth cannot survive when the system shakes. And that is exactly what is happening. The old system, both inside and outside of you, is trembling so that something real can rise in its place. When destruction comes, the first reaction is always resistance. You want to hold on to what is familiar because it feels safe. But 8 October does not bring safety, it brings strength. Safety is temporary, strength is eternal. The more you try to cling to what is crumbling, the more pain you will feel. The more you release, the lighter you become. The system shakes not to punish you, but to prepare you for elevation. Let go of what cannot move with you. The beauty of 8 October lies in its raw honesty. It strips everything down to essence. There is no pretending, no comfort in illusions. It shows you what's real and what's not. This is where true renewal begins, in truth. Once the false layers fall away, you are left with pure awareness, pure direction, pure strength. You see your life clearly. You see what truly matters. And in that clarity, a new foundation begins to form. That is the gift hidden inside destruction. To rebuild, you must first clear the ground. Think of a forest fire, fierce, consuming, merciless. Yet after it passes, new growth always begins. 8 October carries the same fire. It destroys what is lifeless so that vitality can return. The challenge is to trust this process, to stand still while the old version of you burns, and to believe that something stronger is emerging from the ashes. That is not easy. It demands courage, patience, and surrender. But this is how all transformation works, not through comfort, but through fire. This day will test your emotional balance. You might feel that things are falling apart, that what once made sense now feels distant. But do not mistake this for chaos. It is alignment. When the old energies can no longer hold you, they must release you. Every shake, every ending, every unexpected turn is a message from life saying, you've outgrown this. That realization is freedom disguised as loss. The system is resetting itself, and you are part of that reset. 8 October is simply the turning point where the old rhythm stops and the new rhythm begins. You must not run from destruction. You must learn to stand inside it. Because the center of every collapse holds silence, a deep, clear space where something within you awakens. That stillness is your strength. It is where renewal begins. You are not the fragments falling, you are the awareness watching them fall. You are not losing, you are transforming. When 8 October comes, let it take what it must. Do not fight the inevitable. Flow with it. What remains after the storm will be unshakable. When the dust settles, you will notice something powerful. What was destroyed was never truly yours. The people who left, the plans that failed, the versions of you that no longer fit. They were temporary forms meant to teach you lessons, not to define you. What remains after 8 October is authenticity, a clearer sense of who you are, a deeper connection to what truly drives you. That is renewal, that is growth. The world teaches that stability is safety, but in truth, only adaptability is strength. 8 October reminds you that destruction is a part of evolution. The system must shake for awareness to expand. And once you accept this rhythm, fear loses all power. You stop mourning what ends because you begin to see what's being born. Every collapse clears the path for a higher version of your life. Every tear in the fabric of your reality opens space for light to enter. You are not being punished, you are being refined. Every time you face loss, every time you watch something fall away, you are being shaped into alignment with your highest potential. 8 October brings the courage to face that refinement head on. It brings a truth that cannot be avoided, that the only way forward is through the fire. But once you walk through it, you no longer burn. You rise. You understand that destruction was never the end. It was the beginning of your becoming. That is the essence of this energy. 8 October comes to shake, to clear, to renew. It comes to show that the collapse is sacred. It comes to remind you that even in the darkest hour, creation is already happening beneath the surface. What feels like breaking is simply transformation unfolding. Stand in that truth. Let the old system fall. The new one is already forming, and this time it will be built from strength, awareness, and purpose. 8. October carries an energy that demands stillness, not panic. The system around you will shake, the noise will rise, and emotions will try to pull you in many directions. But that is when you must remember the core teaching. Preparation is not about doing more. It's about being still within the movement. The world teaches reaction, but true preparation is calm awareness. When 8th October arrives, the ones who will stand strong are not those who fought to control the storm, but those who learned to breathe through it. Most people prepare for change by holding tighter. They analyze, predict, and worry, hoping that their control will protect them. But 8th October does not reward control, it rewards presence. You cannot stop what is meant to move. The more you try to control life, the more it slips through your hands. This day invites you to prepare differently, not through fear, but through inner discipline. To ground yourself so deeply in awareness that nothing outside can disturb your center. The preparation begins in silence. It begins when you step back from the noise of opinion, from the chaos of comparison, and from the endless cycle of doubt. The system will shake because it must. Your only task is to remain rooted while it does. On 8th October, there is a moment when many will feel the collective tension rising, energy speeding up, emotions surfacing, old situations demanding closure. That is the moment to pause, to breathe slowly, to listen instead of react. That is the discipline of stillness. Stillness is not weakness. It is the highest form of readiness. When you are still, you see clearly. You no longer act out of fear or impulse. You move with precision, with purpose, with awareness. 8th October calls you to return to that precision. The world may shake, but when you are grounded, your decisions become simple and powerful. You stop wasting energy on what you cannot change. You stop feeding what drains you. You begin to conserve your strength for what truly matters. This is how real preparation works. It does not come from panic or reaction. It comes from balance. You do not prepare for 8th October by predicting outcomes. You prepare by mastering your response to them. Whatever happens, you meet it with presence. Whatever falls, you accept it with grace. Whatever comes, you receive it with awareness. That is the kind of calm that turns storms into teachers. The energy of 8th of October exposes the difference between noise and awareness. Those who react will be exhausted. Those who observe will evolve. This day will test how deeply you trust yourself. It will show you how quickly you get pulled by distractions and how easily fear can take your focus away. But it will also show you your potential for mastery. When you stay still inside, you begin to feel a quiet power rising, a strength that does not depend on circumstance. That strength is preparation. Everything you've been practicing, patience, awareness, letting go, will be needed now. Because this energy does not come to comfort, it comes to elevate. When 8th October arrives, many will seek external solutions, new plans, quick answers, someone to guide them. But the truth is, and the only guide that matters is already within. The preparation is internal alignment. It is trusting your intuition when the path ahead is unclear. It is holding peace while everything else trembles. When the system shakes, those who rush will stumble. Those who breathe will see clearly. You cannot stop the shaking, but you can choose how to move through it. The lesson of 8th October is that your energy creates your reality. If you panic, the storm grows. If you remain calm, the storm reveals its message. Every moment you stay centered, you transform chaos into clarity. Every moment you return to awareness, you step into mastery. Preparation means knowing that not every battle is yours to fight. Some situations are designed not to be controlled, but to be observed. The more you resist, the more you suffer. The moment you surrender, peace appears. Surrender is not giving up, it is stepping into flow. When you flow, life carries you exactly where you need to be. That is the silent wisdom of 8th October. It teaches that movement and stillness are not opposites, they are partners. When you are still within, you move powerfully without. This day is an invitation to return to that inner equilibrium. When the noise rises, close your eyes and listen to your breath. When people panic, choose silence over reaction. When fear whispers, remind yourself that nothing real can be destroyed. This is how you prepare, not with tension, but with trust, not with worry, but with awareness. The shaking that comes is not meant to break you, it is meant to remind you of what cannot be broken. All the practices, lessons, and challenges before this day were training for this moment to remain calm when everything else moves. The world is full of motion, but power belongs to the one who can remain still while moving forward. That is true mastery. When the energy of 8th October moves through, you will know who you are by how still you remain. You will see that peace is not found after the storm, it is found within it. Preparation is not an action, it is a state of being. And once you enter that state, nothing external can ever unbalance you again. The system may shake, the noise may rise, but your awareness, calm, sharp, and awake, will remain unmoved. That is the preparation 8th October demands. Not fear, not reaction, just pure, unshakable presence. 8th October will open a door that only those willing to release the old can step through. The energy of this day will not wait for hesitation. It will move directly into the spaces where resistance hides. Letting go of what no longer resonates is not a suggestion. It is a necessity. The system is changing, and anything built from fear, doubt, or attachment will begin to crumble. You must be ready to release what no longer vibrates with the frequency of your growth. 8th October is not about losing, it is about clearing. It strips away what you've outgrown so you can finally rise without weight. Letting go sounds gentle, but it is often the hardest act of strength. You've built identities around pain, memories around the past, comfort around limitation. You've told yourself that certain emotions, certain people, certain versions of yourself must stay because they define you. But 8th October does not care for definition, it demands truth. It brings the vibration of release, the kind that frees you from patterns that have quietly drained your energy for years. The things that begin to fall away after this day are not punishments. They are signs that you are no longer the same. When you hold on to what no longer resonates, you trap yourself between the old and the new. You keep vibrating in a frequency that the universe is already moving beyond. 8th October brings the clarity to see that holding on is what creates suffering. The moment you let go, space opens. Space for light, for new energy, for direction. The system cannot give you new blessings if your hands are still full of the past. You must empty them. That is how the flow begins again. Letting go is not rejection, it is respect for the natural rhythm of life. Everything has its season. When that season ends, clinging becomes decay, whether it's a relationship, a belief, or an identity. When its purpose is complete, it begins to weigh you down. The energy of 8th October will make this very clear. You might feel emotional distance where there was once connection. You might feel disinterest in what used to excite you. That is not emptiness, it's evolution. You are shifting, and your energy is asking for alignment. The system within you knows when something no longer fits. The signs are always there. Discomfort, confusion, restlessness. 8th October magnifies these feelings, not to overwhelm you, but to help you see where your energy is stuck. When the old vibrates too low, you begin to feel drained. When you try to hold on to what's meant to go, you block what's meant to arrive. The moment you stop forcing, the new begins to flow naturally. Releasing is not always peaceful. It can feel like loss, even when you know it's necessary. But 8th October teaches that endings are not destruction, they are purification. You will notice that after letting go, the air feels lighter, your thoughts feel clearer, and your direction becomes simple. That is the moment you realize how much energy you were using just to hold on to what was already gone. The more you release, the freer you become. The freer you become, the more the universe can move through you. Letting go is an act of trust. Trust that life knows what it's doing even when you don't understand. Trust that every removal creates space for renewal. 8th October asks for this kind of surrender. It asks you to step back from fear and remember that everything that truly belongs to you can never be lost. What leaves your life after this day leaves because it no longer matches your vibration. The energy is simply aligning you with truth. There will be moments where you feel uncertain, moments where silence replaces noise. That silence is sacred. It's not emptiness, it's the beginning of peace. The absence of what you once clung to is not loneliness. It's space for your authentic self to breathe. 8th October reminds you that freedom is not found in possession, but in release. Every attachment you drop brings you closer to your real essence, light, grounded, and unburdened. When you truly let go, you no longer chase closure, validation, or explanations. You understand that not everything needs to make sense for it to be right. You stop replaying what went wrong and start trusting what's unfolding. You stop looking back and begin moving forward with grace. This is the kind of strength 8th October activates, the quiet power to let go and still stand tall. The world may call it loss, but your soul knows it as liberation. The energy of this day will continue to work long after it passes. You might find that old memories lose their emotional pull, that forgiveness comes more naturally, that clarity replaces confusion. That is how you know the letting go was real. It means the system within has adjusted to the new frequency. It means you've stopped living from the past and started existing in presence. Let 8th October be the day you release what weighs you down. Let it be the moment you stop fighting what life is trying to take away. The only reason it feels heavy is because you're resisting the flow. Once you surrender, the current carries you effortlessly toward what is meant for you. You don't have to force, fix, or chase. Just allow. The energy knows where to take you. When you wake up after this day, you will feel lighter. Not because the world has changed, but because you did. The grip will loosen. The pressure will fade. You'll breathe differently, deeper, freer, clearer. And in that stillness, you'll realize that letting go was never about losing. It was about remembering who you are without the noise, without the attachment, without the weight. That is the transformation 8th October brings. Not chaos, not endings, but freedom through release. 8th October will not arrive softly. It comes with force, with energy that shakes what is false and awakens what is real. Every system, every belief, every limit that has kept you small will be tested. The world may call it chaos, but it is not chaos. It is revelation. The system shakes to reveal your true power, the strength that cannot be taught, only uncovered. On this day, you will see that everything shaking outside you is only a reflection of what is awakening within. You have been trained to fear the storm, to see movement as danger, to see loss as failure. But 8th October comes to prove the opposite. When the system trembles, it's not trying to destroy you. It's trying to expose the strength that was buried under comfort. Growth never happens in calm waters. It happens when the current pulls you beyond what you think you can handle. This day will do that. It will test your patience, your control, your emotional depth, but within that test lies your awakening. Power is not built through peace, it's revealed through pressure. When things begin to shake, most people panic, but the ones who rise are the ones who stay present. The system shakes because it is time to see who you are when everything familiar is stripped away. Without the noise, without the labels, without the external validation, who remains? That is your essence. That is your real power. 8th October will bring you face to face with that essence. The energy of this day is not gentle because truth rarely is. It will challenge you to stand when comfort would rather see you fall. It will push you to believe in yourself when the outer world gives you no reason to. That is where your power begins. In silence, in resilience, in the refusal to surrender your peace. The shaking will not last forever. but what it leaves behind will be unbreakable. You will discover strength that has been waiting quietly beneath your fears. Every difficulty you face is an initiation. Every setback is a lesson in disguise. 8th October intensifies this understanding. It shows that life's tests are not random. They are precision, cut to shape your spirit. When the system trembles, it's removing layers of illusion, the idea that safety lies in control, that worth comes from approval, that peace depends on circumstance. When these illusions fall, power emerges. Because what is left is the real you, the one who doesn't need to control, who doesn't chase, who simply have ease. And there will be moments during this shift when you feel pressure building, as if everything is demanding your attention at once. That pressure is creation energy. It's how transformation feels before it becomes visible. Don't run from it. Let it mold you. Every shake, every challenge, every uncomfortable truth is refining your awareness. 8th October teaches that discomfort is not the enemy, it's the sculptor of strength. When you stop fearing the shake, you start absorbing its wisdom. This is the moment to reclaim your center. When the external system moves unpredictably, go inward. That's where your stability lies. The system can collapse, the world can shift. But if your awareness remains still, you remain in power. 8th October is the mirror that shows you how much strength lies in stillness. Not passive stillness, but conscious awareness, the kind that sees through illusions, that observes chaos without becoming it. That is mastery. You have faced storms before, but this one feels different because it demands alignment, not endurance. It's not asking you to survive, it's asking you to evolve. The system will reveal cracks in society, in relationships, in belief systems, even in your own thinking. But those cracks are not weakness, they are light entering. They are signs that the old foundation can no longer contain your new level of consciousness. Every shake is an invitation to rebuild stronger, clearer, truer. When 8th October moves through your life, stay aware of your reactions. The moments that make you angry, anxious, or fearful are the very places where your power is waiting to awaken. Each reaction reveals where you've been giving energy to fear instead of strength. The system doesn't shake to punish you, it shakes to show you where you've been asleep. The real work is not outside. It's noticing your patterns and choosing differently. Choosing calm when fear rises. Choosing faith when outcomes are uncertain. Choosing action from awareness, not reaction from panic. True power is quiet. It doesn't need to prove, it doesn't need to shout. It is presence. Unshaken, aware, and precise. That is what 8th October is awakening inside you. You will begin to notice a shift, less dependence on what others think, less attachment to what could go wrong, more focus on what you can control, your energy, your response, your vision. Once you master that, no system can control you again. The world rewards reaction, but the universe rewards awareness. When you reach that state, external turbulence becomes irrelevant. You no longer need things to go right for you to feel right. You begin to realize that power isn't something to be gained. It's something to be remembered. 8th October is your reminder. The shake is not a threat, it is a signal. A signal that your dormant strength is rising, that your higher self is taking form, that you are stepping into the next stage of consciousness. When the shaking ends, something extraordinary happens. You no longer fear what's uncertain. You stop being attached to outcomes. You start trusting movement because you know that everything that falls away was never meant to stay. What remains is solid, your truth, your awareness, your purpose. That is your foundation now. So when 8th October comes, do not resist it. Do not shrink from the tremor. Stand tall in its center. Let the system shake. Let the old dissolve. Let the illusions burn away. And watch as the strength you always carried begins to surface. You will see that what you once called chaos was actually awakening. What you once feared was power calling your name. 8th October will reveal it. And once you see it, you will never be the same again.